So, hello again. Today's topic, the carbon cycle. And I'm going to construct the carbon cycle right here on my desktop. And it's your job again to copy it and to follow along. Now, the carbon cycle is in ecology a very important concept because it illustrates one key idea, namely that carbon or matter generally cannot be made or destroyed in an ecosystem. So the carbon that we take in, that I as a human being eat in the form of food, has to go somewhere. Okay, it either ends up in my own body as biomass, or part of it is also exhaled again in the form of carbon dioxide. And so this is the thing that I'm going to show you today. And yeah, why not for once use little pieces of paper, and I'm going to combine it again by drawing some arrows using my my marker over here. And we start off with carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is present either in the air or in atmosphere, actually in both. And now something can happen with this carbon dioxide, namely, and here this is where I have my other sheets of paper, it can go into the so-called producers, and the producers are plants and photosynthetic bacteria. And this is a very important arrow that I have to draw over here. It's a very thick and big arrow, so I'm going to draw it big, okay? It's a very big arrow over here. And yeah, of course, you already know this step over here. How is this called? When carbon dioxide is taken up by plants or photosynthetic bacteria to make more plant material, it's called, I have to move over here, got all my little pieces of paper here on the side. Yeah, have you guessed? Of course, it's photosynthesis. Yeah. So this is a really big arrow because it's actually the only arrow that goes away from carbon dioxide to the producers. And we're going to see later on that there are many other arrows that actually go to carbon dioxide, but this is the only one that goes away. And because it's a cycle and everything has to be balanced, this arrow has to be specifically large and thick. Okay. So over here, what I have over here is consumers. Now, consumers are animals, for example, okay? And how is this process called when the carbon goes from producers to the consumers? Okay, this is also an important step over here. And the arrow always indicates the flow of carbon. So when I eat a plant, a carrot, a banana, then yeah, the carbon from the plant goes into my body. Well, that's why I have to draw the arrow into this direction. And yeah, I just said when I'm eating something, so of course feeding, yeah, when consumers feed on the producers, and yeah, that's why it goes in. But animals can also eat other animals, right? Yeah. So how do I draw that? I mean, consumers eating consumers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an arrow. It goes all the way back to itself. Yeah. Okay, maybe move it up a little bit over here. Okay, this here is also known as feeding, of course. Yeah. This is also feeding. Consumers can eat other consumers. Now, but there's another interesting thing that we should not forget about, and that is, yeah, carbon dioxide is also produced by the consumers. How is this arrow called? We go from consumers to carbon dioxide. When I exhale carbon dioxide, where does this carbon dioxide come from? It comes from a process. I'm giving you some time to think. The cell respiration. Maybe I'm going to just do it like this. Okay. Yeah. So cell respiration. Yeah, this is how carbon dioxide is produced. But what about the producers? Do plants also do cell respiration? Do plants also have mitochondria to do cell respiration? Of course they do. Yeah. So let's not forget about this arrow that goes back here to carbon dioxide. Okay. So also plants do, of course, do cell respiration, and therefore I also have to label this part, and I don't even know where to put it. Okay. You get it. You get the idea. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to do it like this. Ha! That's the solution. Okay. That's the solution. Both arrows with one label. So, yeah, we're still not finished yet, because not all producers are eaten by consumers. And what happens when the consumers die? Okay, or when the plants die? Leaves fall to the ground, and they're being decomposed. And those, yeah, things, those organisms that decompose substances, it's a huge text, yeah, are known as saprotrophs. These are bacteria and fungi are known as saprotrophs, and they basically start to build up all the carbon as they grow. And this means I have to draw an arrow from the consumers to the saprotrophs and from the producers to the saprotrophs. And this process, what happens, not surprisingly, is called death. Yeah, plants can die, and then their carbon can be found in bacteria and fungi, which break it down. Yeah? And of course, also consumers. Yeah, they can die. It's all the death here. Yeah? So, but still the cycle is not complete, because what we do not have is we do not have bacteria and fungi building up and building up and building up. Yeah? So what we have to have is we have to have an arrow back from the saprotrophs to the carbon dioxide. Let's do it like this. And what do they do again? This again is called cell respiration. Bacteria and fungi also do cell respiration and produce carbon dioxide. And the carbon cycle is finished. Yeah, you see, there is no, at least here, there is no external source of carbon being added here. What happens sometimes is that in some carbon cycles, what they say is that you can also, that's the extended carbon cycle, add a little bit more. For example, CO2 can also be produced by combustion, by burning of fossil fuels. But that is a cycle which is extended, and it's the topic of a different video where I'm going to, or for example, carbon dioxide produced by volcanic eruptions. I did not include this here, but as a matter of fact, there will be a separate video on this. So just a short clarification here is those things that I put in light blue, carbon dioxide, producers, consumers, and saprotrophs, these are known as carbon sinks. Better write this down somewhere. It is a sink. Okay. These are carbon sinks, and this basically means that this is where carbon is stored. And the arrows that I have drawn, the changes, these are known as fluxes. So, flux. So we have sinks and fluxes in this diagram here. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much all I want to say here. And if you use your common sense, you're quite easily able to reconstruct this carbon cycle, because really there is not a lot of new information in here. You know that consumers are eating, animals are eating plants. You know that. Yeah. You know that plants are doing photosynthesis and that there's cell respiration going on. You know that consumers and producers are able to die. Yeah. So there, a lot of knowledge is in here which you already have. Yeah? So I'm going to leave it at that, and wish you a nice day. Bye bye.